Guys, what is going on? Joe with Odyssey Offroad. We are pulling in. You see it, Cochise Motorsports, my favorite power sports dealership. And we are pulling in because we are picking up a new unit. Not only are we picking up a new unit, but we're actually getting rid of a current unit for the new unit. So let me pull up here, park, and then I'll show you what we're getting rid of, and then you'll see what we're getting. All right, guys. So there it is, the Grizzly. That's what we're getting rid of. We are trading her in today. And what we are picking up actually just drove by from the service department. And they pulling it up into the showroom there. So you can't see it yet, but we'll take you inside and show you what we're getting. But if you've seen the thumbnail, you already know what we're getting. So let's get this thing unloaded and put the new unit on here and do a nice little walk around. All right, guys, so we are inside the showroom. I just got the Grizzly unloaded. We're just kind of walking around. My son's checking out some stuff. What do you got there, buddy? Gloves? New gloves?
Yeah, they're only $19.
Yeah, I think they're a little big for your hands.
No, I tried them on.
Yeah.
They're perfect. And they also have some space for my fingers here. Only $19.
So he wants a new pair of gloves, which we just got him a new pair of gloves. So he's not getting another pair. But anyway, look at the showroom here. They got tons of inventory. If you guys are looking for a new unit, they got dirt bikes. They got tons of ATVs, Yamahas. They got a Polaris XP1000 Sportsman here on the showroom floor, the Sportsman S. They have a Polaris Expedition vehicle. They have a Ranger. They have a Turbo R Razor. They have a bunch of ATVs, Hondas over there. They got everything you need here. They got a great selection of inventory. They got the new Polaris Razors, the XP1000s out here. They got a ton of stuff out front. Show you guys inventory. They got a whole pile of goodies up here. All the Razors you could want, pretty much. 4-seaters, 2-seaters. So check them out. Cochise Motorsports, great people to work with if you're in the Arizona area. Even if you're not, man, it's worth the drive if you're not in Southern Arizona area to come here and use these guys. Straight up best deal you're going to get anywhere in Southern Arizona for sure. If they can get me what I need, this is the only place I use. They are just great people to work with. Come see Pablo over here, and he'll get you straight. He'll get you the deal you're looking for and into the unit you want. So they got Yamahas. So they basically sell Yamaha, Honda, Polaris, and Victory here. So check out this Razor Troy Lee edition. So I'm going to walking around a little bit, waiting for them to finish up the paperwork, and we're going to sign and load up that Polaris Scrambler. And here it is, hiding, tucked into the corner. Polaris Scrambler right here. Look at that. Woo! Brand spanking new, right out of the crate. It actually was just delivered to the dealer today, early this morning. Not even early this morning. I think it was like midday, middle afternoon, like noonish, early afternoon, somewhere around then. They got it uncrated, put together for me, and came down to pick it up. So we're just gonna do some paperwork, get this thing loaded up, and we'll do a full walk around once we get it home. All right, so here we are. We got her in the garage, got her unloaded. It's actually like a day or two later from when we picked it up. Got home the night we picked it up. It started actually drizzling on the way home, and it was dark, getting dark. So, and I've just been busy the last 2 days, couple days. So here we're filming now. I didn't do nothing to it when I got it home. Except for just remove all like the warning labels. Kind of wanted to do the walk around with it completely stock. There's a bunch of warning stickers, warning labels. You guys probably seen them on the quick walk around at the dealer. But we took all those off, just kind of give it a cleaner look, and then I just spray detail it, spray wax it. A lot of you guys always ask me what I use because I've mentioned it quite a few times about the spray detailer I use, just using something like that on plastics, or a spray ceramic wax or something like that. And everybody always wonders what I'm talking about. Just basically anything you would use on your car. So it really depends on what type of ATV you have too. So like these are painted plastics. So it's a metallic flake. The plastics are actually painted. You can see they're black plastic, and then Polaris paints them blue. So anything you would use on your car, a spray wax or spray detailer that you would use on your vehicle's paint, and that's the new Tundra, which was on the last video. If you guys haven't seen, check that out. the new 2023 Tundra, TRD Offroad Limited. But like, so like same thing with my wife's Can-Am, that's painted gray plastics. And then with the Raptor, well, actually all three of these quads, the two Raptors and the Outlaw, they're colored plastics. They're not painted plastics. So that I would use. You can use the spray wax, but I use some different stuff, and I'll show you that stuff too, what I use. And then I have some other stuff I use for, like the textured black plastics. You know, after a while, after the first few rides, it gets kind of dirty and dulled out and, you know, stained. So after I give it a good wash, I always use the pressure washer. You don't even need high pressure, but just to get all the dirt stains out and all that stuff, and a good soap. And then once it's dried off, I just give it a spray down. So what I used today was, first time I used this little ceramic coating spray. It actually works pretty good, this stuff. It lasts quite a while. And then you can use something like this too for the painted plastics. So you can even use this on these also, right here. But what works really nice on those where it's a non-painted plastic is something like this. So this here, 303, I don't really have any left anymore, but it has a UV inhibitors in it. So this 303 protectant, this stuff works awesome. It's for vinyl, rubber, and plastic. So that's what, you know, that's just basically colored plastic. So it works great on that, and it's got the UV inhibitors in there. So it'll help, you know, if your machine's out in the sun and all that stuff, it'll help prevent them from fading and drying out and cracking. So it also can use this stuff on your car dashboard and all that stuff. And then this here, also the VLR is awesome. It'll clean and condition and make it look like new again, the black textured plastics. So I'll spray that on the black textured plastics and then give it a good rub down with a cloth, and they just come back to like brand new again on all my machines. Number one rule and number one thing I have, I mean, these things cost a lot of money, particularly this one. You know, you're spending a lot of money on these machines. I know they're meant for the dirt and to take abuse, but there's nothing wrong with taking care of your stuff and making it last longer. It's an investment, and you want it to last and look good, especially when you're making payments on something. You want it to look as nice as possible for as long as possible, so you don't feel like you're making payments on a hunk of crap sitting there in the corner of your garage. You know what I mean? So enough about that, but I just wanted to touch on that because I get asked that a ton in my ATV videos when I talk about the spray wax and stuff. People always ask what I use, so that's kind of it. So again, this is a 2023 model Polaris Scrambler XP1000 S, and that is a mouthful, right? But they also have there is also a Polaris Scrambler 850, and that is a 50-inch wide machine, I believe. And the downside to that machine is it used to be actually nicer than it is now before they came out with this 1000 S. Since they come out with the 1000 S here, and this is like the high-end one, they kind of downgraded the 850. They give it like steely wheels and stuff like that. You don't even get aluminum wheels with it, and not that great of tires either, from what I've seen. So that is also available, and it seems to be just as hard to find them as this. Now, my dealer literally had to jump through hoops to get me this machine. Polaris is making these, I don't know if it's just 2023 or it's just in general since they've released them, in very limited number. So there's not a ton out there, and that's why there's not a lot of content out there either. I mean, there's very few videos I found on YouTube, even when I was researching whether to get something like this or the Renegade, which you guys know if you follow the channel already. I also used to have a Renegade 1000 along with my wife, and I got rid of it. And so I was kind of, even back then, I should have went with this, honestly, but it was kind of like a coin toss. I didn't know which to get, and so I went with the Renegade at the time. But even then, these things were very hard to find. And so my dealer couldn't even just place an order directly through Polaris like they normally would. Say, let's say you want to order a Razor or a Sportsman, and you place an order with your dealer, and then you can track your order through Polaris, which I did do on this once the order went through. But they couldn't place the order directly. They had to go through the Polaris district, their district representative, district manager, and then he had to put the order in for them because Polaris wants to make sure that they have an actual buyer for the machine, and they're not just ordering the machine for the dealer to have on the showroom and maybe not sell right away. Like, they're making, I guess, such a limited amount of them that they're only sending it to the dealer if they know for sure there's a real person buying it. So from what I was told, I placed the order with the dealer. I put my deposit. The district Polaris guy went through them. He put the order through Polaris. Went through a couple levels, and then we finally got an order number and a confirmation order number about 8 days after I initially placed the order with the dealer. So from that point, it was 6 weeks, and the unit was delivered to the dealer. So not a long wait at all. But it's if you're thinking about getting one and you know there's a dealer close to you that has one, I would say jump on it, because you may not get another opportunity to find another one or get another one. They're very, very hard to find, very limited number of production. So, which is also pretty cool because it kind of makes it unique. I haven't seen anyone around me with one of these, except for my brother. You guys know we put out a video about 2 months ago. My brother picked one of these up, and honestly, he picked his up. I had the Grizzly at the time, and we all went out for a ride on it. You know, my wife, him, his wife, and myself. And his wife got the Polaris Sportsman XP1000 S, which we also showed you guys a couple months ago. They picked them up right the same week. And I drove that thing up and down some hills, some off-camber hill climbs, some rutted out stuff. And I got to tell you, this thing is so stable. It makes it so that if you were a beginner driver, a beginner rider, and you're not that great with traversing technical terrain, this almost makes it easy, or easier than it does on any other machines, because it's so wide and it's got so much suspension travel. I've been riding my whole life, and I've never ridden a machine like anything like this. It just blows my mind. Mine hasn't even seen dirt yet. So I've taken it around the block. It's been only on pavement only at this point. I got it home. The next morning, I kind of came out here in the garage, went through my shock settings, and adjusted the air pressure in the tires, make sure they were at 7 pounds the way they recommend. And then I took it around the block just to kind of break the belt in low gear and in high gear, and break the brakes in, break the belt in, kind of do a nice break in with it, get some heat cycles in it. I did that. I've done that a few times. So it hasn't even seen dirt yet. It's been 110 degrees here, or at least 105 every single day here in southern Arizona for over 30 straight days. It's scorching. As I'm talking to you right now, the sweat is dripping profusely down my body. It's gross here. So it's literally no fun to go out and do anything outside. I've hardly been spending any time in the garage fiddling with what I got and all this stuff here, because it's just so uncomfortable and hot. I put the fan on. It helps a little bit. I have it off right now for the video for sound's sake. So this machine here is 89 horsepower, if you guys don't know much about it. It's got 14 inches of suspension travel. It's 55 inches wide, which actually, if you measure, it's actually more along the lines of 56 wide. It's a very, very wide machine. The shocks, to my surprise, I realized when my brother got his. When I did and I have to correct myself, I made a mistake. When I bought my Renegade, I was discussing the suspension settings on with the Fox shocks they come with, about the full adjustability, the high speed, low speed compression, and the rebound settings. And I had thought that the Scrambler didn't have that. It just had like 3 clickers for soft, medium, and hard. And that is not the case. These are fully adjustable shocks as well. And they are also dual rate shocks. So when I say fully adjustable, obviously you have your rebound. Now the one thing I will say about these shocks is not as many clicks of adjustability as you would get in those Fox shocks. There's so much adjustability. Like, there's about 15 different clicks of rebound, and then like the high speed compression and low speed compression just dials out like 3 full turns from fully closed. Whereas these, you have about 8 or 9 clicks, I think it was, for fully adjustable, from full soft to full hard on the rebound. So I have it set in the middle. And then the high speed compression is your red knob. That's the outer red knob there. And then the low speed compression is the black knob in the middle. And it's like that on all 4 shocks. All 4 shocks are actually the same. They have different part numbers in the front just because the reservoir is facing a different way. So you wouldn't be able to flip the shock on the other side. The back shocks are the same part number because they're just facing the rearward. But you have the red knob, the black knob, and then the rebound adjustability on the bottom. So I went through that, set them all the same. There's about 8 clicks of high-speed compression, and there's about 12 or 13 clicks of low-speed compression. So I have those set. I have it at 6 from the full. So I have 2 in from fully soft on the high-speed. The book says set it at 8, which would be fully soft. So I have it set at 2. I'll kind of start with that and go from there. If it's too stiff or it's not bottoming out on like big landings or jumps, then I'll soften it a little bit. And then the slow speed compression, which is kind of helping with the slow stuff, the body roll and all that stuff, and the small little chop and the little rollers. That's the slow speed, and that I have set at the book, which is like somewhere in the middle. It's like 7 or 8 clicks from fully seated in, from full hard. So not much storage on these. It's obviously a sportier machine, so you're not going to get as much storage. You just get this cubby here in the back, which is decent size. I have the toolkit in there. Comes with a toolkit. The toolkit has a clutch tool and a spanner wrench. I'll show you what it's got here. So this is what it comes with. This is your spanner wrench for the shocks, and then on the other side is your clutch tool. So the secondary, you'll stick this in there as a little slot. Kind of stick it in there, and then you pry the secondary open to loosen, and if you were going to be replacing your belt. So that's what you would use that in for. That's like that on all Polarises. And then you have a wrench, a little Torx. They give you some extra plastic rivets because there's a lot of plastic rivets on this machine that hold stuff together. So if you lose some, they give you some spares. There's about 3 or 4 of them. Air gauge and then spark plug wrench. So that's pretty much it for that stuff. But they do give you a toolkit. A lot of the Japanese bikes, the Grizzly, new Grizzly when I bought it, did not come with a toolkit. And Deal tells me they've been getting that with a lot of the Japanese brands. They're not coming with toolkits anymore. So what else? The belt is rear facing. I would say the most difficult part about servicing this machine, everything else is very easy from what I'm seeing. Way easier to service as far as fluids go than the Renegade. The Renegade is probably the worst machine. I think it's just a Can-Am thing. A lot of Can-Am seems to be very difficult with changing fluids. But the one more difficult thing would be if you have to change a belt or service your clutches. Here's your clutch cover. It's rear facing. It's pretty easy to get to all the bolts. That's not the difficult part. The access to that is pretty easy if you go around the machine. But to get the clutch cover off, you'll see this part, the frame's kind of in the way. So what they do is they have a section of the frame that's removable. So you take these 2 bolts out here, and then those 2 bolts out there. You take this piece of frame section out, and then this way the clutch cover can come out no problem, and you can service your belt, change your belt, blow out your clutches. And then when you put that section of frame, and then you got to keep in mind is you got to, I'm not sure what the specs are for torque, but they are in the owner's manual. You want to re-torque that to what the specifications are, because it is part of your frame. That's, you want to make sure that's torqued properly. So there's a lot of little pre-wired electrical things here, which I don't know 100% what they're for. And if any of you guys do know, please let me know in the comments below. So right here there's a little, there's a plug with a cap on it, right on the handlebars. I have no idea what that's for. I'm thinking it's for winch control. So if you would have a Sportsman, they come with a winch. My sister-in-law Sportsman has the winch on it, and that might be what that's for. And then there's also a spare plug under the dash. So like you see where these switches are, there's another plug under there to put another switch here. I don't know what it would be for, but it's just kind of capped off also under there for future use. You have this here switch is for that light bar. And that light bar works great. It's very bright. Down at the front, you got some plugs. Now this one here with the red cap next to your radiator, that is for if you're not using the machine and you want to put on a trickle charger, you can plug your trickle charger right into that, and it runs right up, and it's hooked up to your positive and negative on your battery. It's just a charging lead, so that you can plug into there without taking the hood off to get to the battery. And I'll take the hood off and I'll show you guys what it looks under there. It makes it very easy to work on. It's very similar to the Yamahas, the way the Yamaha ATVs are, where they put everything under the hood, easy access. That's kind of what you got here on this. You also have a 12 volt, like cigarette lighter style outlet there. So if you want to charge your phone or something like that, you can put an adapter in there for a USB and charge your phone. If you keep your phone, say, on your handlebars for navigation or something like that, which I do tend to do. So when the battery runs low, it's nice to have a spot right there where you can plug it in and charge. And then you'll see it comes with handguards. I think that's awesome, and they give great coverage. Like, they're big handguards. They cover the whole the grip area and where your hands are. The only downside to the handguards on these machines is I wish they would do a wraparound handguard, because, you know, if this gets a good hit, they're going to break, and it also gives you less protection for your hand. The wraparound handguards with the metal wraparound bar here makes these more rigid and protects your hand in case of a rollover, say, and your hands are still on the bars. If you tip the machine over or something, it's going to protect the side of your hand too. Or if you hit a tree, the side of run across a tree branch or something, it's going to kind of slide across and not whack you in the hand. So that would be the only downfall, I would say. But it is nice they give you handguards, and they do offer a lot of coverage. So as far as the brakes go on these, it's a single lever braking. I prefer a 2-lever braking system, which the Yamaha Grizzly had. That is very nice because you can control. Maybe I'm just old school, or because I'm used to riding sport quads, but you can just use front brakes or rear brakes. But I just like to have that ability. And then you have a lock on there for, you know, braking. You can lock the brakes if you're transporting it. Put it in park, put the emergency brake on, or if you parked on a hill, it's nice to keep the stress off the transmission. What else? So, as far as the brakes go, so the front would control all 4 brakes, so front and rear. And then you have your foot brake there, that just controls the rear. So if you just want to stop with your rear brakes or tap the rear brakes to slide the rear end loose in a turn, you have that ability with just the rear brake there. And then for general stopping purposes, you'd use your hand lever. That works all 4 brakes. And I'm not sure if it favors the front or favors the rear, or if it's a 50-50 even brake application with that front lever. I have no idea what that would be. As far as everything else goes in service we were talking about, that seems pretty easy and straightforward. You have very easy access to drain and fill in the rear diff. You see the fill is right there. The drain is right there. There's a hole under it for the fluid to drain out, which is nice. That's the downfall of the Can-Ams. They don't have, the fluid tends to run all over the place. And then on the transmission, you have your drain bolt right there. And the fill, I believe, the drain is back there. You'll see it on the bottom, right there. And then that's the fill. So nice, super easy there too. And then as far as the engine goes, you just take these 2 black panels off. I have another video coming out. We did an exhaust system on my brother's Scrambler. So you'll see we have these side panels off on that one. And you'll see the access to the spark plugs is right there. And it's all 5 minutes to get these black panels off. Very easy to do. Front diff, also pretty easy access. You'll see it's right there. The front diff and drive shaft and all that stuff on these, and the axles is out of a Razor XP1000. So way oversized for an ATV. And so you see there's plenty of access there for the differential, front diff, electric power steering box. Fuel tank is in the front on this, which is interesting. On the Scrambler and most 4x4 utility machines, the fuel tank is usually in the rear. So I'm sure when they were building it, it was just for weight distribution, but that's where they decided to put it on the Polarises. And the fuel cap is right here. It actually makes it nice for filling up. It's high up there, not sitting in the rear fender. I don't know. It's really preference, I guess. But as opposed to the Can-Am, which would be on your right side, this is on the left side. So that's the other difference. And if you take the seat off, seat just comes up. There's no latch. Just pull it up. It's very similar to the Grizzly in that aspect. Not much under here, except for the top of your motor. You have your airbox there. And the air box, this is a paper filter, and it's got a pre-filter wrap on it. So pull that strap back, take the cover off, air filter comes right out, put a new one in. Once that one gets all dirtied up, we'll probably get a uni air filter replacement that's washable for this unit. And your clutch exhaust or clutch intake, not sure which one, up here, I believe it's the intake. Yeah, this is the intake. The clutch exhaust is the rear. It comes out of the rear fender. I'll show you where that is. And the oil check is right here. So with the oil check on this, you want to screw it all the way, pull it out, wipe it clean, screw it all the way back in to check the oil, and then pull it out. You want to check it cold, not hot. This is a wet sump, not a dry sump system like you would have on your Raptor with a separate oil tank. All the oil sits at the bottom of the crankcase. So the exhaust for the clutch CVT is right there. Some people complain about the location of that clutch exhaust, but worrying about getting water in your CVT. I don't think that's an issue, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it's the exhaust, so it's blowing out air. Second of all, it's at the bottom of the seat. And also really quick, two guys in the middle here, before I forget, follow us on Instagram as well as Facebook. I just created a Facebook page, Facebook account for Odyssey Offroad. So just look up Odyssey Offroad on Facebook. We're there. I'll leave a link in the description of the video below, as well as a link for the Instagram account. So it's on Instagram, we're Odyssey_Offroad there. So follow us on that as well. And back to the video. So, I don't think that's an issue. If you're going through water that deep, you probably bought the wrong machine if you're doing that regularly. This is a sport machine, trail machine, dune machine. It's not really meant for mud bogging, so I'm sure you can if you wanted to do that, you would have to snorkel it anyway, which would alleviate that whole issue of the exhaust. So that's what you should do to the machine. But at stock, the way it's set up, you shouldn't be taking any machine through water that deep. It's just my opinion, of course, but as far as looks of the machine goes, and one more thing we'll touch on with storage. As we're walking around the back, and the rack kind of reminded me, there is some storage ability, things you can get. Now, what the weird thing is, I've found that Polaris actually doesn't make a whole lot of accessories specifically for this machine. So I don't know what accessories will fit here, if any of you know. I know they have one bag. It's like a rigid storage bag. It's meant specifically for this machine. It's made by Ogio. And it's just the lock and ride. It goes in here, clamps down on both sides, and it comes up about yay high. So that'd be nice to have. Problem is they're out of stock. I don't know when they're getting one in. So we'll see about that. And then you also have the lock and ride set up in the front on these front racks here. I don't know what fits here, and I've seen a few guys online that have a storage box that sits in here nice and flush. And I've asked them about it, and they said it's actually a Can-Am storage box meant for a Can-Am. How they've mounted it, though, I have no idea. A lot of guys from Europe, I notice, have those. So if any of you guys are watching this and know anything about that box that they put there, or that maybe you have one on yours and you're watching the video here, if you have a Scrambler too, what is that box and how do you mount it? I'd love to know, because that's pretty cool, because it's kind of low profile. It's out of the way, gives you a little bit of something to put stuff in there. And I'll pop the hood off and show you guys what that's like. So it's super easy too. It's also with the lock and ride setup. You have the latches, you just flip back, and they're just pressure sensitive. When you pull it in, it's just a pin, and it pulls in on the rubber bushing that expands. That's all. So when you pull this up underneath, there's your battery. You can flush out your radiator. You have your fuse box right there, radiator cap. Everything is accessible, and set up pretty clean here with the way they did it. If you want to take the hood off and work on it, you just that little plug right down there, that one right there. Just undo the plug, and that wire just goes to the hood, through the hood to the light bar. So you just unplug that, and you take your whole hood off instead of the side. But put this back one-handed here. See if I can put it back one-handed. Probably not. Oh, there we go. See, it's not that hard. One-handed. All right, and it's solid. I mean, it's on there good. I don't know, what can you say about this machine? The looks of it is killer. The front end is a little subjective. I think people either love or hate. Some people think the front end looks a little funky. It's kind of like I don't know, like an angry looking animal. The way it looks, like a cat or something. I don't know. It's pretty interesting look. The Scramblers have looked like this for a while, even the narrower ones, the 850s, and the old XP1000 Scramblers, not the S model. The same front end, pretty much. The front, they give you a nice, beautiful front bumper. You can mount a winch in there. You can get the Polaris accessory winch with and it's pre-wired for it. So that's the other thing I forgot to mention. That might be something to do with the wire that was on the handlebars, maybe for that. And then you just literally run the wires up, plug it in, mount it behind the bumper here. It's got a place for it, where it comes out, where you put your fair lead here. So that's pretty nice. They think ahead a little bit in that regard, so they can sell you accessories, of course, and get you to spend more money. But it's nice because it's just, you don't have to, go crazy hooking stuff up. You can just buy their kit, install it. You can get the one with the synthetic winch line, and it's nice. It saves a little weight too, as opposed to the metal cable, steel cable. I think the machine's great looking. When these first came out, they were black and red. That black and red is really nice. Also, the thing with the black is kind of shows all the scratches and the trail damage, whereas I think this hides it a little bit better. It is painted plastics though, so you are going to scratch like you would paint on your car. You have a clear coat on top, which the nice thing about that is you can actually buff and polish it same way you would your car, if you know how to do that. So I love the high-vis yellow accents. The seat, I tell you, the one thing about this machine is the seat is so soft and cushy, like for an all-day trail ride. And that's what this is for, like going out all day, navigating some, rough terrain, exploring different trails. And the seat comfort is just a big bonus on a machine like this, to have a really nice seat. A typical sport quad like the Raptor and stuff, the seat's pretty comfortable too, but you tend to stand up a lot on a Raptor or on a sport quad for a lot of different things. Where this, you can just kind of stay sitting down, and it's a super comfortable seat. It's got the little kick up in the back here. Normal riding position, you're sitting right around here. I am anyway. You can sit back further on the seat, and the seat's actually even softer. It's super nice. It's not as thick and soft as the Sportsman seat. So if you have a Sportsman, it looks similar, but my sister-in-law has the Sportsman XP1000 S, and that seat is even thicker and softer. It's actually, in my opinion, too soft. You almost sink into it. You can't even move. It's like sitting on the couch. It's crazy how thick and soft it is. But this is a very, very comfortable seat. Out of all the ATVs I've ever had, personally, that's the most comfortable seat that I've ever had on a machine. Shifter. One downfall of this machine is, like a lot of Polarises, even their side-by-sides, everything's straight in line. So to put it when you're all the way back in park, to get it into neutral, which is one click up, you'll see it says it right here. You got park, reverse, neutral, low, and high. If you want to go to reverse right from park, good luck. It's very difficult finding it. If you pop it up into neutral and then click it back into reverse, it finds reverse much easier. That tends to be how I do it. I don't know if that'll break in a little bit as the machine wears in, but that's just what I found. And I always found that too on the Polaris Razors, were the same way. Turn the power on here. What's nice is you have all your idiot lights here, right? Same way you would on a car. The background screen, you'll see, is blue, and it's in standard, which is the power mode, and then you can put it in performance mode. You can set this up however you want. You can scroll through the menu by using this. You just click it, and it'll scroll through. You can press and hold the mode button. Press and hold this button. It'll go into your settings also. If you press and hold that, it'll come up with your settings, and then you can scroll through the different setting options. You can change the backlighting to red. It's more like an amber, like a reddish amber, or have it as blue. I have it blue, obviously, because I have a blue machine. You can change how bright the backlighting is. And then also too, when you click on mode and up and down, you can change. But up here, I think it is So here, if you just use the regular menu, you can change the middle one. I have it set to temperature. And then if you click the mode button, you can change the top from RPM to miles per hour. I like to have it at miles per hour and then have my engine temp here so I can keep an eye on my engine temps. It'll show you what gear you're in here, as well as if you're in neutral. It'll show you right there. And you have your other idiot lights there. So if I pop it out of neutral, put it back into park, it'll turn that off. And park will show up here. You got to give it a rock, and you'll see it's in park now. And then it's in two-wheel drive right now. Four-wheel drive, you just click it over. When the machine's running, it'll go into all-wheel drive mode. You want to do that when the rear tires are not moving. You don't want to put it in four-wheel drive while you're rolling or while you're on the gas, because you could cause damage. Per the owner's manual, I usually stop before I put it in 4x4 anyway, or so you know I'm going to need it and have it in ahead of time. Light bar, obviously, you can see. I'm probably going to adjust it down a little bit. It's kind of shining a little high, so when you're out on the trail. You want it to kind of project out if you're riding at night, but I think a little bit more down would be better, beneficial. And then your headlights are just the regular halogen headlights. They are pretty bright for halogen headlights, I will give it that. So that's not too bad. I have a video up where we put LED headlights on my brother's Scrambler, and you can see the difference there. They are a little bit brighter, but it's just more of a clearer light and nicer looking headlight as opposed to the halogen chrome bezels. But I don't know, I may just change the bulbs out and go the opposite way my brother did. Instead of replacing the whole lights, I may just change the bulbs to LED just for the looks. I know a lot of you will say the halogens cut through the dust better, which is fine. I'm usually at the head of I'm usually leading the ride anyway, so I'm not usually having to cut through any dust when I go out with, my wife and my brother or whoever else we ride with locally. So I usually lead, so I don't usually have to worry about cutting through the dust. But I like the LEDs just for the way it looks. As far as everything else goes, I can't really comment on much because I haven't ridden it yet. It's kind of just the initial walk around. Going over some details. You can hear I have the fan on right now. I've been cooking in here. Hopefully that wasn't annoying, the sound of the fan, for the last couple minutes. But I was just overheating here recording. So as far as mods go, off the bat, probably not much. We're going to do an exhaust at some point. We'll change the air filter out, tune it, all that good stuff. We do have a video coming out, so stay tuned for that. Within the next few videos after this, for my brother's Scrambler, we put in a full exhaust and a tuner on his, and that is do not miss that video. That is unbelievable. You'll like that video if you're looking to put exhaust on your unit. Make sure you catch that one. Don't miss out. Smash the subscribe button on the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss that. We got a ton of content coming up on the channel. I pretty much got videos lined up for the next couple months, at least one a week. All different stuff. We got some mods coming for the Raptor 350, courtesy of Resto Quad, same company that sent me the headlights for the Raptor 700. They sent me a kit with some other goodies for the Raptor 350. So we're going to be doing a video on that. Those are great guys to deal with, great products. So tune into that video if you're interested in that. Got some more Tundra stuff coming up. I got this first modification for the new Tundra. It was delivered to the house today. So we're going to get that installed actually here when I'm done recording this video, and I'm going to record that. That video will be coming up here shortly as well. But I hope you guys like this one. If you got any questions about the machine, leave a comment below. Smash the like button on your way out. Get out there and ride safe. And guys, if you're thinking about buying one of these and you see one that's available locally, I would say hop on it again, because they're very hard to find. And once that one's sold, you may be hard pressed to find another one. You may be kicking yourself for not hopping on the opportunity. So go grab it. It's a great machine. They ride great. Like I said, I've ridden my brother's a little bit, and that's why I kind of went out and bought this. I just couldn't see myself riding anything else after riding his for 10 minutes. The ride quality is that good. And for where we ride out here in the open desert, in the trails and the mountains, this thing is amazing as far as suspension goes. But I got a ton of other stuff coming up, like I said, on the channel. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. Smash the like button. Leave a comment below, even if it's just say hi. And when you get out there on the trails, make sure you clean up after yourself. Nothing wrong with stopping and having, we go up we pack food, lunch, snacks, drinks, but clean up after yourself. Don't leave your litter because that just ends up getting the trail systems closed or the trail closed up by the local authorities, and then it ruins it for everybody. You're no longer going to be able to use them, and neither is anybody else for one litter bug. And the rest of us shouldn't have to clean up after you. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button, and we will see you on the next one. This is Joe at Odyssey Off-Road. We're out.